And so what I'd like to do this evening is a sequence which is actually really ancient, and some of you, if you've been coming to my classes for years, you've probably done it in some form or another. It's a very ancient practice. The Sanskrit name for it is Pawanmuktasana. And it's a very old sequence, and I absolutely love it. I think it's a really great evening practice. And if you think of it more of or as a meditation than anything else, so it's really a movement-based meditation, rather than a posture practice as such. So if you're okay to start this practice, just if you can be comfortable lying down, that would be great. But adapt it if you need. Just try to get comfy. Make sure you're going to be warm as well. So I've got the heating on. That's why I look like I'm dressed for the summer holidays. But make sure you've got socks and jumpers and everything on that you need to be warm. And before we begin with this practice, just let yourself have a moment to arrive. Maybe just noticing how you're feeling, what's been going on, how your body feels, and how you feel in yourself. And then I wonder if you might have done this spontaneously, perhaps just in the last minute or so, but I wonder if you could now consciously take a deep breath in and just open the mouth and sigh the breath out. And do a few of those and see if you can take a deep breath in. And then right at the beginning of the sigh, if you can catch your breath. So you sigh like this. So you kind of catch the throat right at the beginning of the exhale. It's kind of the way that you would sigh, I guess, if you were really exasperated at something or frustrated, you might breathe like that. But it has the effect of almost feeling as though the exhalation drops out of you, and you might sense that there's a possibility of dropping the body down into the ground. Maybe just do a couple more or have a yawn, but really focusing in on the breath if you can, however you're breathing. And then if you just relax the breath and let the breath go, and see if you can shift your focus now to the sensation of the body. So see if you can feel all the way down through the whole body. See if you can feel the clothes against the skin of your body. See if you notice that if you take your awareness to a particular part of your body, let's say your sacrum, and if you really try to feel that area, that it takes almost a moment for the nervous system to feed back to the brain so that you're actually conscious of the sensation. Or if you were to pick your feet and really feel the sensation of the feet. And just be aware of the sensation of the physical body. And then if you could shift your attention from the physical body now to attention itself, And just give yourself a moment to see if you can notice attention itself. And then I wonder if you could have a go at being aware of all of these at the same time. So bring the attention back to the breath and maybe breathe in a slow, steady, conscious way. You might use Ujjayi breathing, but breathing slowly and steadily, and see if you can, at the same time as breathing slowly and steadily, if you can feel your whole body and your attention all at the same time. And then if you stay with that, but see if you can home in on your toes. And when you're ready to begin, just in your own time, as you breathe in, see if you can simply spread your toes. Try to separate all of the toes. And then as you breathe out, crunch the toes, squeeze them. So as you inhale, you spread the toes, try to get the air in between all of the toes. And then as you exhale, you squeeze and crunch the toes. And just repeat that for a few rounds, focusing on the breath and your toes and the sensation of your toes, keeping your attention there. And then if you relax your toes and take a breath in, and as you breathe out, lengthen the fronts of your ankles. So it's like you're pointing your toes away from you. And then as you exhale, if you flex your ankles so that you press into your heels. So as you inhale, you stretch the fronts of the ankles. And as you exhale, you stretch the backs of the ankles. And if you repeat that, just gonna do this. Yeah. Try to keep the toes relaxed and just mobilize and focus in on the ankles. Now, the ankle joints are designed not just to flex and extend, but to rotate. So I wonder if you could breathe in, and then as you breathe out, if you start to circle the feet. So I'm not going to tell you which way to do it. You could, everybody does it differently. But the idea is that you rotate the ankles at their capacity of movement. I'm just thinking, I'm sure, Debbie, you know the way to move that's best for you. So the capacity of your movement might be better to back off from, but I'm sure you can feel what's best for you. But I would say for everybody else that I can think of, at least, that, I mean, I can think of you all, but I don't know what's best for all of you, if you know what I mean. So I would, but usually really circling the ankles at their fullest capacity. So I try to get my little toes to the floor, and I try to get the soles of my feet to the floor, and I try to get the big toes to the floor as I circle inward. And I try to touch the knees with my toes on the flexion, if that makes sense. But whichever way you're going, if you reverse your direction. So you're really trying to access all the little nooks and crannies of the ankles. And then if you just relax your feet for a moment and just feel the sensation of the feet and the toes and the ankles. And then if you could bring your legs together and maybe bring the inside edges of your feet together so that the inner edges of your feet are together and your ankles are flexed. And as you breathe in, see if you can imagine, if this were your feet, that you're trying to turn the soles of the feet out. And then as you exhale, you're trying to bring the soles of your feet together. So you're effectively twisting your ankles, but in a controlled way. Because your ankles are designed to move laterally. So you're inhaling, trying to pull the balls of the little toes towards you. And as you exhale, you're trying to bring the balls of the little toes together, or the soles of the feet together. All the while keeping the inside edges of the feet like the spine of a book. So try not to separate the feet. And actually, that's probably enough. So if you just relax your feet for a moment and take the awareness up to the knees. And if you can bring your feet flat on the ground and then bring your knees in towards you. You could keep your arms down on the ground if that's okay. But when you're ready, as you inhale, if you reach your heels to the ceiling and open the backs of the knees as much as you can in this position, and then as you exhale, bring the knees in towards you, bending them. So you're inhaling and extending your knees, and then exhaling and flexing your knees. And as you move like this, I wonder if you can also be conscious of the earth or the ground beneath your back. So really see if you can energetically step back a little bit from the computer or the tablet or the device, and really be aware of the space that you're in and the sensation of the ground beneath your back. See if you can really feel the solidity of the earth. And maybe the next time you exhale, if you bring your knees in towards you and place your feet back onto the ground, and just give yourself a moment. We're going to roll over and sit up in a moment, but just take a pause, feeling the landscape of the whole of your body on the ground, breathing. And then if you roll over onto one of your sides, make your way up to sitting. And I wonder if you could sit with your legs wide like this. So we've done toes and ankles and knees. So we're coming up to the hips, and we did this one last week. So if you can lean into I think we did it last week. If you lean into one of your hips, it doesn't really matter which one. And the leg that you lean away, if you internally rotate it, and then take a breath in, and as you breathe out, drag that leg across to the other one. Let's stick with the same leg. So just repeat that leg, but before you drag it out, turn it out. So turn the toes out, turn the whole leg out, breathe in and drag that leg out. And then internally rotate. Make sure you do that before you drag it across. and then sit your hip down, externally rotate, and breathe in and open. So we're really rotating the hip, because that's what it's designed to do. So internally and then externally, seeing if you can do that with the breath. So you're exhaling as everything comes together, and inhaling as the legs expand. And remember, it's possible to do this with the leg off the ground. Well, I'm saying it's possible, might not be possible. and if you're having a go at that, you might especially try to do the transition of internal to external off the ground. That's the tricky bit for me, especially out from external to internal. So, but it's strengthening, it really strengthens the hip. So if you relax that leg down, just maybe notice the difference between the two legs, the sensation, and then lean into the leg that you just worked to lean off this hip, internally rotate, and then drag it across, turn it out, breathe in, drag it out. So really feeling the leg, and especially the hip that you're working. And then if you take the leg out, and keeping the legs out, you know, you don't have to have them as wide as they go. You could bring them in a bit if that's better, and you can bend your legs. If you're struggling to sit up, if you bend your legs, that can help you to be more upright. But then if you lace your fingers and take a breath in, and then as you breathe out, again, it doesn't matter which way you go, because we'll do both sides, but reach towards one foot and then sweeping round to the other. And as you inhale, come upright, let the hands pass the chest, and then circling round. This movement isn't in the Pawanmuktasana sequence, so it's an adaptation of the original sequence. This is added in. So if you come upright and then exhale and go the other way. If you breathe in and come up and just release your hands down, and if you bring your feet flat on the ground like this, and if possible, let's take the knees down to the left. So knees down to the left, bringing the right foot, if you can, towards the buttock, and the left foot by the knee. And I didn't see Joyce here, although I think, I'll check in a second if you're here. But anyway, if anybody has any issues with sitting like this, you will be skew width. So don't worry about trying to get this hip down. You could have a go at taking the line of your thighs and bringing the legs out like that, if that's better for your knees. But if you can bring your left hand onto the ground, squeeze the right buttock, really squeeze it, and lift the right buttock and the right half of the pelvis up, and then breathe in and look behind you. And then as you breathe out, release back down. So you start by squeezing the right buttock, which lifts your right half of the pelvis up, and you twist and look behind you, and then exhale down. So I don't know if you can see from this angle. So my left hip stays on the ground. And we're going to do quite a few of these. So I wonder if you could maybe, once you've found the movement and the rhythm and the breath, if you're okay to close your eyes, that might be helpful, just to really focus internally and see if you can encourage for the breathing to slow down to a comfortable rhythm. With the idea of slowing down not just the breath, but time. So knowing intuitively, as I'm sure you can imagine, that time dilates, time can change, and that the closer we get to the earth, the slower time has been found to happen. See if you can imagine that you might be able to slow down time by slowing down your breath, slowing down the movement. To create more time for yourself. And in this slowing down, really feel the whole of the bowl of the pelvis being rocked. And if you maybe do a couple more, and if you like, if it would feel good, you could, as you breathe in and twist, take your left hand a bit further round behind you just to deepen the twist. And then if you release the right hip towards the ground and then swap the feet round so that you sit on your right hip and you bring your left foot by the left buttock and your right hand is on the ground, so you kind of lean into that hand a bit, and then squeeze the left buttock, lift the left hip, turn and look behind you, so that's breathing in. And then as you breathe out, sitting back down. And then seeing if you can slow down the breath, slow down the movement. Focusing your attention within the whole of the bowl of the pelvis. So the left buttock is squeezing as you breathe in and releasing as you breathe out. So the pelvis is being rocked, which usually rocking is soothing for the nervous system. And your hips and your sacrum are all being mobilized in different ways. And if you maybe do 2 or 3 more, and you might like to take your right hand further round behind you to get a deeper twist. Okay, so if you just bring your left hip back down, and then if you could come back down onto your backs, if that's all right, if you could lie down, and however you like, you can stretch your legs out, you could have your feet flat, you could bring the soles of your feet together if you like. That might be quite nice after at this point, but really whichever you prefer. But take a moment to just feel how we've worked from the toes all the way up each joint into the pelvis. And as you feel into the legs and the pelvis, see if you can again become aware of the earth beneath you. See if you can feel the solidity of the earth stretching down for hundreds of miles beneath you. And then keeping your legs as they are, and if they're like this in Baddha, the cobbler's pose, and at any point you've had enough, just stretch them out or bring the knees back together. But if you could shift your focus now to your hands and maybe have your elbows on the ground, but your fingers pointing up to the ceiling. So your forearms are perpendicular to the ground. And Debbie, I was thinking, you might want to leave, or you might need to leave your thumbs out of this one. See how you go. But if you can, breathe in and just stretch and spread and open the fingers and the thumbs, getting space between the fingers and thumbs. And then as you breathe out, bringing your hands into fists and just squeezing the fists. And then as you inhale, spread the fingers again. And just repeat this one now. So yeah, Debbie, you could just leave your thumbs out of it completely and just do your fingers if you need. The main thing is to bring your attention to your hands and your fingers and to the joints in the fingers, and to extend them as you inhale, flex them as you exhale, and see if you can really be aware of the breath. See if you can feel the air around the fingers as you move them. See if you can feel the temperature of the air in the fingers. And then if you inhale and spread the fingers and open the palms, and as you exhale, flex the wrists so that the palms face down, and then inhale, extend the wrists so that you're trying to face the palms to the ceiling. So you're exhaling, bending the wrists one way, inhale and bend them the other way. And again, keep slowing the breath down, slowing movement down, noticing any tendency that you might have to keep speeding up, which if you've been rushing around, if you've got quite a stressful, busy, intense, full-on day-to-day life, or if you've had a day like that today, sometimes it can almost become habitual to keep speeding up and doing things faster and faster. So if that sounds familiar, see if you can practice slowing down. And then maybe bringing the hands into gentle fists
wrists, not tight ones. And I say circle the wrists, but for me it's more of a figure of 8. But the idea is that the wrists can rotate as well as flex and extend. So seeing if you can, again, really get into all of the nooks and crannies of the wrists. And I wonder if you can have a go at reversing that movement, which is a lot easier said than done. Maybe just do a couple more. And then if you relax the hands down onto the ground and shift the awareness up to the elbows. And as you inhale, extend the elbows. They might even lift off the ground for some of you. And then as you exhale, if you flex the elbows so the fingers will end up by the shoulders, and use your biceps to try and squeeze the elbows closed. And then as you inhale, extend the elbows. And just repeat that one a few times. If you keep going, I'm just going to Okay. Then if you relax that movement, I quite like just to pause with my elbows on the ground and my fingertips gently touching the breastbone. Just keeping the hands really relaxed and the arms relaxed, and take a pause, feeling into the hands and the wrists and the forearms and the elbows, and into the breath. And then if you could roll over onto one side, just to take yourself, when you're ready, up to sitting. So I'm going to kneel because I'm comfortable kneeling, but if you prefer to sit on a chair, you could do that. If you would like to make kneeling much more comfortable, if you've got a cushion or something that you could grab and put between your heels and your bum, that makes it more comfortable. But just be comfortable, just sitting in a comfortable position. I'm only getting rid of my support so that my head isn't totally disappearing off the screen. But if you could bring your arms down by your sides and bring your attention back to your breath. And when you're ready, as you breathe in, take the arms in front of you. And my hands are going to disappear off screen, but they're just staying in this position. And you breathe in and bring them as sort of alongside the ears if possible. And then as you breathe out, see if you can take them further behind you. And then inhale, bring them back to the ears. And then exhale all the way down to alongside your body. And then inhale and take them out behind you. And then breathe out back to the beginning. So the first inhale is to just lift them comfortably up. And then the next exhale is to take them further behind you. Inhale back to where is easy, and then breathing out, bring them all the way down. And then as you inhale, you take them as far back that way as you can. And then breathe out back to the beginning. So I think a physio would tell you that, let me get this right, I think this is flexion of the shoulder joint. I bet there's some of you who know. I can't ask you to tell me. It's not important, but and then this might be extension of the shoulder joint. But anyway, we're moving at full capacity if possible, if that's appropriate. So really focusing in on the shoulders. And if you breathe out and relax the arms down next time they come to this place, and then bring the fingertips to the shoulders. And if you can, bring your elbows together in front of you, or as close as you can in front of you, and then inhale, reach them up, and they have to separate at some point, and then really reach the elbows up as high as you can, and then exhale, take them down behind you. So it's inhaling up the front, exhaling down the sides or the back, so that we're now rotating the shoulder joints. If you imagine the ball and socket joints in the shoulders, and maybe reversing at some point. So you inhale up the sides or up the back, exhale down the front. Just watch out with glasses if anyone's wearing glasses. Okay, and then if you relax the shoulders and take your opposite hand to your opposite shoulder and just relax the elbows down, and then as you breathe in, just feel the shoulders rise up and then feel the shoulders relax down as you breathe out. Maybe just 2 or 3 more deep breaths. Feeling the breath come into the shoulder joints or into the whole shoulder girdle. And if you let the fingers slip down, and you could tuck them in to the armpits, and then see if you can feel the movement of the breath in the armpits. And then exhaling and releasing the fingers from the armpits, and maybe just bring the hands to the center of the chest, to the heart. And if you let the chin slightly lower down, and bringing the awareness all the way deep within the chest to the heart space. Feeling or imagining the heart nestled between the lungs. And as you breathe, the lungs almost massage the heart. Or the lungs almost rock the heart. Okay, so releasing the hands, and if you could come to all fours. So the first part of the sequence was the feet to the pelvis. The second part was hands to the heart. And now we've worked all of those joints between the fingertips and the heart space and the feet and the pelvis. So now connecting into the spine. So on all fours. Oh, I'm just thinking, Joyce. So Joyce, you could do this sitting. You could stay sitting on your chair. I'm guessing you're on a chair. And you could do it a cat stretch on the chair. Obviously, you're not kneeling like this. Your feet will be on the floor. But yes, so it's the movement of the spine. So if you're on all fours, if you take a breath in, if you haven't already, cat stretching. So pushing down through your hands to bring the chin to the chest, spread the shoulder blades, gather the pelvis under, and then inhale to release. And if your back is okay, you could arch your spine looking forwards. So extending and flexing the spine. And then if you come to a flat back, like a tabletop position, and take a breath in, and then if you sway your pelvis or your hips to one side, so if you were to sway your hips or pelvis to the left, look over the left shoulder towards your left hip and vice versa. So you then sway the hips to the other side and look over the other shoulder. So you've got a bit of a side stretch. And it might be nice to side stretch as you breathe out, coming center as you breathe in, alternating sides. And in fact, if you come center and maybe sit on one hip, and if you're okay to be cross-legged, this next, just to increase that side stretch, works quite well in a cross-legged position. But if you're on a chair, that also works. If you maybe take your hands down to the sides and take a breath in, lifting one hand up, and as you breathe out, just side stretching, taking the other elbow down, inhale, swapping, exhale the other way, just so it's a bit of a deeper side stretch. And then if you come center, maybe just rest your hands anywhere really on that's comfortable. But I wonder if you can be quite still in your body and just turn your head. And when you turn your head, notice how far your gaze goes. You could even turn, so if you're turning your head to the right, you could take your eyes to the right and see how far to the right you can see. And then coming center, so without moving the shoulders or the chest, turn the other way and let the eyes go as far as you can, and just notice how far you can see. Do that a couple more times, twisting or turning the head as you breathe out. And if you come center as you breathe in, trying not to turn the chest. And then if you come center, this works really well on a chair. I did it earlier today like this. You could do that, but you could probably even do it like still with cross-legged. But I think I'm going to do it like this because it's easier to describe in a way. But so if you were to turn and look over the left shoulder, as you do that, see if you can move the right hip forwards and the left hip back, so that your left hip is moving back as you turn and you let the body move as well. And then come center. So the left hip goes forward, the right hip goes back, the left shoulder goes forwards, the right shoulder goes back as you look over the right shoulder. So just bringing more movement into the twist. As you breathe in, come center, and as you breathe out, twisting. And then if you come center and just come to a comfortable sitting position, we're going to do a tiny meditation. So come to a comfortable sitting position just to end the movement. If you bring your chin toward, keep your spine upright, but bring your chin towards your chest, just to flex the neck, and then inhale, maybe looking forward, maybe looking a little bit up, but be careful not to knock the head back. And just very slowly and very gently nodding the head. Lifting it up a little bit, but then nodding it back down. And maybe if you, as you do the last couple, you might like to bring your hands in your lap. It can be nice if you've got that cushion, if you've still got one there, to put that cushion or something in your lap and have your palms on top of each other with your palms up, and touch the thumbs together, the tips of the thumbs together. So it's Dhyani mudra. So palms are on top of each other, tips of the thumbs touch. It's quite a nice containing mudra. And just nodding the head 1 or 2 more times. And then if you let your head settle somewhere in the middle where it's comfortable, and see if you can feel everything below the waist, so the pelvis, the legs and the feet. See if you can feel the connection of the earth through the legs and the pelvis. See if you can let the legs feel the solidity of the earth stretching down for hundreds of miles. Being aware of the spine traveling up through the air. Feel the air in the lungs. And being aware of the head. And I wonder if you can imagine your body like a little snowdrop and your head like the little flower of a snowdrop nodding in space. And just taking a moment to sit quietly. And then if you would like to do a nidra, then making your way just in your own time down to a comfortable position. Of course, you can do the nidra sitting if you like, but most people prefer to lie down. If you need the toilet, it's probably a good time to go. You might want to grab your socks. Just take your time to get comfy.
So whilst you're settling yourselves, just especially for the two of you who are here for the first time this evening, just so you know, the way that I do this is that we do a nidra, and at the end, you might hear, hopefully you'll hear, that I end the nidra with a blessing. And after the blessing, I turn my microphone off, and then I tiptoe over to the computer and end the meeting. So it's not like in a real life setting where I wake you up and make sure that you're back and feed you chocolate and spray you with orange blossom and all of that stuff to make sure that you're compos mentis to get home safely. Because you're at home, so I just tiptoe out and let you come round in your own time. So I hope that's okay. So making yourself as comfortable as possible, letting yourself off all hooks about being quiet or still, just do whatever you need to do to be comfortable. And as you are settling, I wonder if you can again feel into your whole body. See if you can feel into the whole sensation of your body. Notice, if you can, the sensation of the clothes against your skin. You might even be able to detect the fibers moving, the fibers of the cloth moving as you breathe against your skin. And as you sense down into the sensation of your body, I wonder if you can feel a vibration almost that pervades the whole body. Which could be possibly the sensation of the nervous system. So just in the same way that we can feel the breath or temperature or, all sorts of things we can sense, I wonder if you can sense into the nervous system. Sometimes also a deeper, more core sensation of pulsation. And knowing that the nervous system hears the quality of breath. Seeing if you might almost speak to the nervous system, communicate to or with the nervous system by having a yawn or a sigh, or you could breathe in and exhale through the mouth like we did at the beginning with the catch at the beginning of the exhalation. But even just a yawn or a few yawns,
And then allowing, if it happens quite naturally sometimes, for the breath to just become quiet. Sometimes the breath can become quiet and very light. So if that happens naturally, just noticing the feeling of the breath or the quality of the breath. And then again, feeling into the sensation of the whole body. And sensing, if you can, not just the clothes against your skin, but the quality of what's beneath you. So if you have a yoga mat, you might sense the sensation of the yoga mat through your clothes, through the back of the body, or the part of the body that's in contact with the mat. See if you can notice that you can detect whether underneath the mat is a hard, solid wooden floor or a carpet. So just noticing what's beneath your mat, and how even when you're not literally touching the flooring, you can sense it through your body. And then seeing if you can sense into the building. So not just the floor, but the actual building that you're in. Maybe if you shift your attention to the sense of hearing, and just take a moment to notice your two ears and the capacity that you have to hear sound. And notice that perhaps with the sound of my voice at least, that you can get a sense of the size of the room that you're in. And that if there are other sounds coming from other parts of the building, that hearing those sounds coming from other parts of the building can give you a sense of the size or the whole of the building that you're in. So really listening into the building that you're in through your hearing and through your sensing, through your body. See if you can hear or sense the pipes of the heating or the electricity in the walls, the services that we have. And seeing if you can really tune in to your home. And then I wonder if you can extend your awareness or your imagination beyond the actual building that is your home to the landscape just outside. So to the gardens or to the streets or to the countryside where you live. And just taking your awareness to the places that are perhaps more familiar to you outside. Obviously, I'm very conscious of those who have just moved into the houses where you've recently moved. So just exploring the landscape around your home and inhabiting it with your consciousness. And then seeing if you're happy to go a bit further afield and expand your awareness further across the village or the town or the city or the landscape around you, seeing if you can detect the size or the space that the town or the city or the landscape occupies. And I wonder if you could take your imagination or travel in your imagination all the way to the coast. And I'm thinking of all of you and how we may all be going to different coasts. And what's important is in this place where you travel is that you only go where you would love to go. So you can go to any coastland. You could go to the coast that you love the most. And from that coastland, you might stay there a little bit, or you might travel across the ocean to the continent or to another part of the world. Wherever you travel in your imagination across the ocean, travel to where you would love to go the most. And when you get there, see if you can begin to explore this place where you love to be. And as you explore this place, maybe even touching the different textures, the different temperatures, maybe breathing in deeply and imagining the different scents that you can smell in the air. Remember that you're in control and you can travel wherever you want to go, wherever you would love to be. Imagining that you can see the different lights and shades. Imagining the sounds that you might hear in this landscape where you love to be. And then just as we're able to travel through space in our imagination, I wonder if you might allow time to travel also, if you would like. And if it is that there is anyone or any people who you would like to be with, then bringing those people into this place or traveling to them. If there's anyone who you would like to visit, and it could even be somebody who is not in our earthly realm anymore. So sometimes when I do this practice, I imagine all the storytellers who keep me company when I'm telling stories. I imagine them there behind me in my space. So gathering together anyone who might give you a sense of support or strength. Om Bhurvasvaha Tatsaviturvareniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurvasvaha Tatsaviturvareniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Radiant sun, pure consciousness, flaming orb of truth and bliss. Remove the veil so I can see. Illuminate my heart, awaken me. Om Bhurvasvaha Tatsaviturvareniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. So I wonder if you could travel back across the oceans in your imagination, traveling safely home across the ocean all the way to the coast. And then from the coast, traveling across the landscape, coming back to the streets or the gardens or the landscape around your home. Feeling by sensing and listening into the building which is your home. Coming home, coming home, coming home to yourself. Feeling the whole of the body, feeling one whole body. Sahana vavatu. Sahanau bhunaktu. Sahaviryang karavavahai. Tejasvinavadhitamastu. Ma vidvishavahai. Blessed Mother, keep them safe and all around who love them. Hold them closely as they dream amidst the moon and stars above them. Let them know that they are loved. Let them know that they are loved. And keep sad days far and few. And hold them here in perfect peace till morning breaks anew.